So today I met our new administration coordinator. She seems quite nice, pretty switched on. I have some concerns about her ongoing availability, suitability, just from a timing point of view. She's a single mum. She's got 3 kids. One is young and has some disabilities that need special care. So she's got her hands full, and also even she realizes early on that this role is really ideal for somebody who's there 5 days a week, because it's a pivotal role and it really needs someone who's in touch with what's happening in terms of client orders and the processing of them. And at the moment she's part-time, and I don't know if this is an ideal fit, but I did find out how she got the role, and this all kind of makes sense now as to how this role got filled so quickly. And one of my favourite sayings that I heard from a famous property developer entrepreneur many years ago was, hire slowly and fire quickly. And in this instance, I am concerned that we have hired too quickly. She seems good and capable, which is part of the trap, but she brought it up with me today, the question of whether or not she was right for the role, given that the role really should have a full-time person, which I got to give her credit for, the fact that she brought that up. So she seems, I mean, to do that, that's something that a person of integrity would do. So that's great, and that's what we want on the team. But yeah, in terms of suitability, for the practicality of what the role requires, it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. So we've put her onto our client management system portal, so she now has access to all of her training modules and all of the different subcategories in there, which she's really happy about, because it's a pretty steep learning curve for her. And and she's got a good attitude, but we'll see how it goes. She seems to be picking things up pretty quickly so far. One of the other things I did today, I mentioned in a previous video that we've given sales rep number 2 access to a list of 200 prospective customers that Biz Gear already has a relationship with, but these people are not currently buying from Biz Gear. They have the potential to. And so I followed up today to see what was happening with that list. So we're now a week later from that list being handed over. One email has been sent to one prospect. And I asked the question, okay, so given that business to business sales processes for cold contacts in particular generally don't happen straight away. It's not like a retail sale where somebody walks in and they're either buying or they're not. Business to business sales usually take several touch points before the decision to purchase is made. And so I asked rep number 2 today, what's the follow-up plan? What are we doing? So we've sent an email to one of our first prospects. What's step number 2, step number 3, step number 4? And it was like, huh? Like, oh, what? We've got more steps. So I don't know, it's almost as if the assumption was that, oh, we're just going to send an email off to 200 people, 200 potentially like good quality prospects, and if nothing happens, oh well. So we had the discussion around this need for multiple touch points and about developing a strategy for some follow-up steps beyond this initial email. The email itself looks pretty good, but yeah, and also then there was the question of, well, so how are we managing, because they don't have a CRM, they don't have a customer relationship management system to put all these people into. He's just looking after this manually. So then the question, my next question was, how are we managing this list? How are we managing like who we're sending emails to, when we sent them, what our follow-up is? It's like, oh, I haven't got anything. So I suggested we go to the good old trusty spreadsheet again, which is better than nothing. Certainly given that we don't have a CRM, spreadsheet's pretty much probably the best default that we're going to have, given that we've got multi-stage processes to manage and that we want to be able to report on progress at our sales meetings as he's making his way through this list of prospects. So that's another thing that hopefully will be set up by next meeting. And then the final thing that I covered today, I caught up with our apparel and HR coordinator, and he's finally gotten around to loading up, to formalising and loading up into our management system the recruitment and onboarding process and all of the relevant forms for doing that, which is appropriate given that we've got a brand new staff member who's just started. So that is good. I've been chasing that for quite some time. He's actually followed through, which he did promise me he was going to do last week, and he did it this week. So I'm happy with that, obviously. And so the next step for him now is we want to start getting into documenting and formalising the processes within the apparel side of the business. So the next thing that he's going to be working on is starting to identify what those initial steps are, and we're going to look at putting together some processes, eventually all of the processes for that side of the business. So hopefully at the next meeting I'll be able to catch up with him regarding that. And the final thing we did, this is with the business owner and trying to get him, he's got a lot going on, there's a lot happening in the business at the moment. I'm just trying to get him to focus on this packaging business unit, which he is, but he's juggling a whole bunch of other things at once. We had a few tasks that he was supposed to get done for this meeting, couldn't get around to it. So what I really want to see is, we don't have Google Analytics set up for the current packaging website, and we're looking at making improvements and developing that website. So if we're going to do that, it would be really useful to have the Google Analytics data, because that's going to help tell us what's actually happening with the site as it currently is, and point us in the direction, in various directions, as to which pages need refinement, which parts of the site are already working for us, and give us ideas around what we can add to it as we improve, and help us actually get a data-driven approach and a plan to improving the packaging website. And that's the great thing about the analytics tool, is with all that data you can actually look at what's happening on your website, what parts of it are working and what parts aren't. So hopefully we'll have that set up fairly soon as well, because we want to, he definitely agrees, we want to focus on the packaging side of things. He's already putting actions into play around improving the product range and negotiating with suppliers on that side of the business. So there's momentum there, but the website is really going to be the core thing that complements all of the activity that we're planning on implementing for that side of the business. And that was pretty much it for today. So another good one, some good progress, and I'll update you in the next one.